Hi, I'm BJ Counsel, founder of UN50. As a retired police officer and executive, this job led me to my life's purpose. I served humans experiencing varying levels of crisis, trying to get jobs, housing, educational needs, health care, but due to personal barriers or overworked systems, these humans aren't able to obtain life's simple goal of just being stable. I believe if basic human needs are met, the need for law enforcement interactions are lessened.
All right, folks, welcome back to You and 50, the podcast. I'm glad you're joining us. For those of you that are always joining us, thank you very much for the support. And for those of you joining us for the first time, welcome. My name is BJ Counsel, and we are recording out of Durham, North Carolina, the Bull City. And I think most of you know, if you've been listening for a while, know that You and 50 talks about how to safely interact with law enforcement, but we also talk about things that are larger than that, substance abuse, community policing, how to make the interactions and working with the community in different roles and issues, because it's not just about law enforcement. These issues go further and deeper than that. And tonight, what we're trying, or hopefully this is going to be a regular segment that we do here. I've met these two women that you're going to be hearing from. I first met Alicia Johnson, who she just made sure I pronounce her name right, here in Durham. And then she introduced me to Miss Crystal Graves, and I want to have them talk to you in a few minutes. But kind of what I want you to understand, what we're hoping this segment is going to do, and why I wanted to do it as a police officer or ex-police officer, is the communities that I go in, and the stigma sometimes people have about marginalized communities or housing communities, and they have this perspective of individuals who live there, or that they don't have the same issues that we all have. And just to give a voice, that we're all human beings, and we want to talk to I can talk and talk about particular communities, but these are individuals who are involved with their communities. They're passionate about what they're doing. And this first night, we're just going to get to know them a little bit. And then as we progress, hopefully we'll have more. We'll be talking about things that are of interest to them and their community and the community at large. But tonight is just introducing them to you, their story, and hopefully we'll go from there. This will be a regular segment. And tonight's show, we're just calling it Speaking Our Truth. We may stick with that, we may not. But I'm excited that they were willing to say yes. And the other thing that's really cool is I met Alicia. We were sitting at a table together, a meeting in her community, and we sat down at a table, and she just kept on talking. I mean, she's just talking a lot. And so the thing happened was like, and she said it. She said, "You know what? I talk a lot." And then I had to agree with that later on after I talked. But yeah, you do. And then when I wanted to talk to her, she introduced me to Miss Crystal Graves. And I also, Crystal, when you talk, I also want to start. I want you to talk about this journey that you're doing with your education. I want you to bring that into the discussion. And when I met Crystal Graves, who is extremely younger than I am, but her energy and passion about what she's doing made me feel really connected to her. So these individuals are passionate about our community, the communities living in our Black community, and as Black women, we're going to be here talking about our truth. So since Alicia kind of started this conversation when she was sitting across from me from the table, I'm going to let her start out. Alicia Johnson, go ahead.
Okay. Well, my name is Alicia Johnson. I was born in the Midwest, Kansas City, Missouri, and then we moved here to Durham, North Carolina for a few years, and then ended up in Illinois, right outside of Chicago, in a town called Maywood, Illinois. And eventually I came back after everyone else came back. I was considered a mama's child. So they didn't think that I was going to be the one to stay away as long as I did. But to say this is that when I moved here, it took me a while to get a little used to the weather. I must say that. I've been southernized now, y'all.
Because that's like, is it too hot for a sister or what? It was just too hot for you.
It was way too hot for me. I was like, what is wrong with these people down here with blue jeans on in 90-degree weather?
Uh,
But I understand it now,
right.
sometimes 90 degrees can be just right, with a nice breeze going on, but it be a little chill in the air. But it's, I've gotten used to it. Like I said, I've been Southernized. The only thing that I refuse to give away in my lingo is the word pop. I'm not gonna say soda. I did just now, but that's just so that you know. Okay, but I am a resident here in Durham. Have been here since 2006. Since October 31st of 2006, I've been a resident with the Durham Housing Authority. I come from people that are educated individuals, okay, with degrees and things like that. And it's not to say they're better than anybody else. It's just that that's what I'm used to. My dad, like I said, when I moved down here, my dad was the department of the director of the housing authority for Durham. So to become a resident of the housing authority, it was almost like, well, what did you do wrong?
Right.
A
stigma.
I was almost like the black sheep of the family because I was the one with the openness, the verbal, and I'm not going to hold my tongue. You give it to me, I'm gonna give it back to you, but respectful, to my elders.
Right.
But I've lived here. I have become passionate in this is my first year being with the resident council committee. Before I was not active with them because like I told the director and everybody else who holds these titles, you sound like a broken record. You talk about change, but I don't see change. And then you want me to participate.
Right.
But last year, I became the president of my community, Laurel Oaks. And I see, I understand on both sides now, where there is hope lost because they feel as though we're not being heard. Where people look at you because you might get a nice job and then you have to tell these people where you live and they have to verify where you live. And once they find out where you live, they feel as though you need to be there so they can treat you any kind of way, and I just want to, I've always been an encourager. I hope that I have to encourage my people. And when I say my people, I mean anyone that is of the human race. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to encourage my people to educate them that, hey, we all make mistakes, but just because my sin is my sin don't make your sin no better than my sin. You're not better than me because you don't sin like me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I want our people to know who they are and what type of power we have as individuals in your own right. You know what I'm saying? Once your mind is, I used to tell people all the time, when I used to teach, I ended up living here. I got my cosmetology license, my barber license, and my instructor license in cosmetology.
Okay,
So
hold
I
on, hold
would,
on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Because
I'm jumping. Am I jumping everywhere?
no. I'm getting ready to ask a question. So does that mean
Okay.
I can come get my hair did at your house?
Yeah, you got a low fade. That's good.
Seriously, because you said
hair like crystals. No, I ain't doing that. I ain't doing that.
you said it ain't yours.
We're gonna keep it real simple, okay?
She brought that in the house in a bag.
Keep it simple and moving on.
No,
But I
seriously.
would tell my students,
That's funny.
change is not always easy, but it's necessary sometimes.
Yeah.
And as long as we encamp ourselves around people of the same mind, because I've fallen victim of own my own insecurities, my own putting myself down and telling myself I'm not worthy,
Right.
and I can't do it and things like that. We all have had those thoughts, but when you encamp yourself around that, and then you look forward instead of looking back, it makes a difference. And I just want to encourage my people. That's what I'm here for, is to encourage my people to do better about them, for themselves first. Once you feel that you the boss, and you boss, can't nobody take that away from you.
Mm-hmm.
But it comes with, humility as well. You just can't go around just killing folks just because who you are. So that's my thing. I tell everybody, change is not always easy. I even have to tell myself, Rochelle, that's my middle name. And y'all can call me Rochelle too. But Rochelle, it's not always easy. Get up, fight, even through my pains now that I'm going through with my disabilities. I have to fight. Yeah. Even today, 52 years old. Some things, it took me a while to get some things, but I got it now. And that's what I want to do. I want to be able to get information from you all and spread the word.
Okay. And I want to stick with that for just a second, because I want to make sure people understand that when you said my people, you were talking about human beings.
Yes.
And so I don't want anybody to think that, while the assumption sometimes is that you're just primarily talking about the African American community and the work that I do, that's the climate that we're in with law enforcement. It's actually about everybody. It's just treating individuals like human beings. That's what we are. I mean,
that's right.
Just a group of us a little closer to the equator, and then the rest of us is a little further from the equator. I mean, that's it. I mean, that's the only difference. We're all human beings, and we all have our stuff. We bring different things to the table.
That's right.
So we just need to recognize that. And what we hope we can do with this is, give voice to those concerns, be inspiration. Because I really like what you just said, because it's difficult to get up, and see. I also like what you just said about, because I don't think about that. You saying someone living in a housing community goes to get a job and they put down their address.
Yeah.
It's like, really? And so people don't think about that. That's something that you guys will be bringing to this table. It's those little things that hinder a person who's like, I'm here to work.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm here to work. And so you gonna like push my stuff over to the side because of where I live?
Treat you wrong because they feel like you are less than they are.
Yeah.
Won't give you the chance to become a supervisor or a manager because of where you live.
Yeah,
so
you
have to fight a lot of discrimination.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, and people don't know that. So that's again, because they're gonna probably be saying this to this whole time we talk about it, because that's kind of what we're trying to figure out how to build this segment on, is just giving voice to the, because I'm sure I probably would have thought about that on some level, but it's not anything in the form of my brain. I don't even know if I would have thought about that, right? Because I'm thinking, because what I say as a bougie Black person, even I'm bougie human, what I'm saying is go get a job. right? And you're like, I did,
Yeah.
but it's on my address. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Crystal,
Hello, hello, hello.
look here.
Hello everyone. My name is Crystal Graves. I am a resident here in our Cornwallis community. I am the vice president here. I've been the vice president since last year. I came to, so bear with me. So I came in 2012 to visit, right? Because I had family members I never met, and I thought it was very cool. And I was going through this phase in my life where I knew I needed a change, but I didn't know how. I didn't know what to do. I just knew that I needed to get away from the environment that I was in because I was entirely too comfortable with failure. I was entirely comfortable with things just being okay because that's how it is, right? Because when you're surrounded by things like that, that's just what it is. That's normal.
Right. Yeah.
So I came in 2012. I left in August. Actually, I left in August. When I went back home, I stayed home until 2014. I couldn't stay anymore. I was just like, something's calling me back to North Carolina, right? So in 2014, I did come back to North Carolina. And it was just me and my daughter at the time, my oldest daughter, who is now 17. Just a little background, I am a teen parent. I did get pregnant at the age of 13. I love my mother. Me and my mother, she had her worries and her concerns and her generational curses that she was trying to break at the time. So I was pretty much in the streets since the age of 10. I ended up getting pregnant when I was 13. I did have my daughter, Kayana Graves. She is 17 now. This is her senior year. I'm so proud of her. And pretty much just tried my best to raise her from there. Made sure she had everything she needed. Her dad was incarcerated a lot, so he was in and out. We were not together. And there was a lot going on. Because in Florida, they charge you with lewd and lascivious. It's getting a minor pregnant versus the statutory rape. So he did serve a little prison time, and he holds that against me still to this day. So our co-parenting is not where it should be, simply because of that reason there, because he had to serve prison time. But I love his relationship with my daughter when he is out of jail, because it's a lot when you're a single parent and the other parent is consistently incarcerated, and especially with a daughter, because they say that young men need their fathers, but the daughters need their fathers too, just as much. So
let me push pause on that. So is he still in Florida or is he here now?
Florida.
Okay. Sorry, I just want to make sure. Okay.
Yeah, all my family is basically in Florida, except for a few family members here on my daddy's side.
Okay.
But yes, we were born and raised in Florida. Our first time leaving Florida was coming here. Yep.
Okay.
So I came back in 2014, back to my the church that I also attended in 2012, Faith Assembly Christian Center. So that's where I reside spiritually. And that's kind of all I knew was like my church family, unless I worked with you before. I had a situation where I wanted to be closer because I needed help with my daughter. I was living in Henderson. So I don't even remember applying for Cornwallis. I'm gonna be honest with you. I do not remember applying for Cornwallis. And they could never show me my original application. But neither here nor there. I got to check my mailbox one day because I was working at Duke at the time. And I checked my mailbox and I was like, oh, because I was trying to figure out how can I get back to Durham. And there was a letter in there from Cornwallis. So I ended up, of course, I'm not from here. So I'm thinking Cornwallis is like, just a regular side of town, just a little, I didn't know the history of Cornwallis.
Gotcha.
I just knew I needed to get closer to Durham, and
Right.
they were trying to give me an apartment. So I moved in the middle of August. I moved in, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna stay here for a couple months because it's all this bricks over here, and it kind of scary because I ain't never seen so many bricks like that,
Well, wait a minute, wait. What do you mean brick? What that mean? Because remember now, I'm the oldest one in the room. So
right.
what does brick mean? What does brick mean?
So in Florida, like a lot of our housing developments are like little houses.
Okay.
With brick, but this is like brick, and it's so big, and it's like so many of them, and I've never seen such a large complex of subsidized housing. Because where I'm from, Brevard County, Florida, I'm from a little town called Mims. We don't see it like that. They look like little houses, but brick houses, basically.
Yeah. That's over there off of that's Lynn Road. That community over there has little small brick homes over there. That's a housing community.
Yep, you are correct.
Yep.
Yes,
go ahead.
Similar to that. Yeah. So I signed my lease in August, and then in December I was in a bad accident. Me and my younger daughter, who I had in 2016, Alicia Graves. So we broke some things. I definitely broke my hip. She was in a body cast. It took us a long time to recover. During that recovery, I was not aware of my lease. That's something that I'm working on within the Cornwallis community now. A lot of times we're just excited that we're doing something. You're either excited that you just got a job, you're excited that you're moving in somewhere, you're excited that you're signing a contract, you're just excited, and we fail to read.
Right.
We failed to read things. And I did not read my lease. I did not know that I was supposed to fill out an interim form if my income changed at the time. So I ended up owing DHA over $3,000 that I had to pay back. So within my recovery, which it took me a year and a half, technically speaking, it took a full year for me to walk regular, but a year and a half to get used to labor and working and being a mom and just doing all the things that you do as a single mother. So with that being said, when I was ready to move and was trying to move, it because they took me to court and I paid the money, but I still was taken to court. It's labeled on my rental history that I was evicted and taken to court for payment. It doesn't say that, oh, by the way, she still lives here. It just says that I was evicted, taken to court for payment. That's all it says. So every time I tried to move out of Cornwallis, I literally got denied every time after that. And then employment did get difficult. I love to be transparent and honest. Employment got difficult because when you lose good jobs, because of your attitude, when you lose good jobs, because you don't know how to work with people, but you're a good worker, right? So a lot of times, even here in Cornwallis, I listen to the community, and a lot of times it's like I work hard, but it's our attitude. It's the way we up here when we're at work. It's our response to our coworkers mainly. A lot of times it's not even the people the customers, it's really your coworkers. So I've lost good jobs, which over time decreased my amount of income that I could make to move into our house, or that I could make to fix my credit, or that I could make to get better transportation. So it was so many things that I was trying to work on at one time that you can't work on everything at one time. You have to at least find something that you're dedicated to and something to work hard on. So I still currently reside in Cornwallis community, and I just try to bring resources to the community of things that I know that we all need help with. I never exclude myself. I love my people. And when I say my people, a lot of times people do think Black people because I think it's unfortunate. I wouldn't say unfortunate, but I think it is unfortunate that DHA is dominantly Black females, to be exact. We do have people from different race here in Cornwallis and throughout the 16 properties that DHA do have, but dominantly it is Black, and it is Black females. So I do take it dear to my heart to try to bring resources such as budgeting, such as credit. Hopefully soon we'll have the diaper drive coming, which is why I called you today, Miss Alicia, because I want to combine Laurel Oaks. Laurel Oaks is a community with only 30 doors. So when I do try to do things here, I want to, of course, combine and help my sister community. So just bringing in things that will help us all be able to transition, because again, we're not a poverty community. We're just a transitioning community that needs a little bit more help probably than another community. But I am a firm believer that we will transition. And I wish that for us all, including our senior citizens, they're on a fixed income. It's not a lot of places for them to go. But then again, we range from infant all the way to in their 90s here. So all the resources that could come is welcome. I will be starting school in January.
Yay!
So I am excited. I
Yes.
do want to be a social worker. I love working with people. I love helping people. I love being there for people, and I love being transparent and hearing stories. Listening to people train a thought on things is in their behaviors. I just love it. It's just, I don't know. I find it intriguing because a lot of times we judge each other so much.
Yeah.
We judge each other so much, and we don't listen to the story. And you
Yes.
never figure out how those things actually make sense to them.
Yes.
You know, and to be honest, God will reveal yourself through other people, because a lot of times we don't look at ourselves and realize that we're going through the same thing. It's the same spirit. It's just a different person in a different situation, but we're going through the same stuff. It's just that you're probably on a different level than me, or you're probably in a different community than me, or you probably make more money than me, but you're going through the same stuff, and we can all lose everything in one day, you know, in a second. So I desire to be a social worker. I am nervous. I am scared. It scared me just thinking about going back to school. It scared me when I went to go get registered last week. Like, it literally scared me. And then she was like, "Oh, Monday, you just hit that registration button." And I'm like, "Okay." and she's like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "Nothing." But I'm just, it's, you have to get used to being proud of yourself. You have to give yourself grace.
Yes.
And you have to humble yourself so that you can see the bigger picture, because a lot of times you will confuse your new you with your old you, and you don't want to confuse them too. They're two totally different people. You know, they both mean something, and you need to learn from the both of them, because one may come in handy one day, but overall, don't get them confused. Move into your new you. And that's what I keep reminding myself, and just telling myself every day, and reminding my community every day. Just go into the new you. Don't worry about yesterday. Just go into today and move forward.
Wow. Y'all always singing this great song about basically picking yourself up and keeping it moving. It's gonna be hard, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you have to, because to stay stuck will drive you crazy, you know. And we are a people of resilience, you know what I'm saying? It's automatic. If you don't know how to swim and I throw you out into the deep, you automatically gonna fight for your life. You're going to kick your arms, you're going to kick your feet, you're going to do something to try to swim, to try to do something. And that's just how people are made and designed, you know. And you have, you know, when I moved down here to North Carolina, they moved me into Cornwallis. So when you say about the bricks, I understand, because in Maywood, there was nothing but homes and apartment buildings, but nothing like that. It was a community, you know, it was a town. We didn't have projects in Maywood, Illinois, because it was the suburbs of Chicago. Now, Chicago, those projects were totally different than the ones that are down here. They had the high rises, and
Right,
then
right.
and things like that. So when I first moved to Cornwallis, uh, I looked at the lady and I told her, I said, "Ma'am," I said, "first of all, don't pay attention to my face because I need housing, okay?" I said, "I've never lived in the projects before. None of my people have." I said, "So I'm the first generation to move into the projects." I said, "So do not look at my face and say, oh, she must be uppity." I said, because I need housing. Okay.
Right.
And when she was showing me those apartments, and I was like, I felt like old girl from New Jack City, Keisha. No, old girl. She was like, "I was prom queen of King High School. This is beneath me."
Yes.
But I knew that I needed housing.
Right.
And they provided me housing. And my thing about living in the projects or public assistance, because see, over here, even though we only have 30 units over here, and it's a nicer area, it's still filled with people from the projects. So you still feel like you're in project, even though you're not. You understand what I'm saying? But when you live there, it's a whole different type of vibe. I met some of the coolest people there. Some of the some people that I didn't like, but that's going to be anywhere, right? So it's
So wait a
a
minute.
whole different type of thing.
Rochelle, let me ask you this, because you just said, you're living in that community and said some people here are from the project and it just feels. So what does that mean? Because, now it sounds like that's a stigma. So,
Well, let me explain that to you.
I need you to explain that.
Okay, so
Yeah.
and we're gonna keep it real, right? Okay,
Yeah,
so you know
yeah.
how they say you can take the person out the project, but not the project out the person.
Mm-hmm.
You ever heard that before?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is a nice community. It's not like Cornwallis. We don't have Cornwallis over here. We don't have uh uh bricks in our homes, cedar bricks, or painted, bricks in our homes.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have the we have it's like a row house. It is a row house, of townhomes. It looks like a townhome.
Mm-hmm.
Even the ones, like I said, when I moved down here, they didn't look like the projects to me because of what I was used to seeing projects in Chicago look like.
Right.
These down here look like townhomes until I lived in them. Right. Over here is more spacious.
Mm-hmm.
The rooms are bigger. You have more bathroom spaces, more closet spaces, and things like that. So it's a nice community. However, the people that live over here, in order to live over here, you have got to come from one of the DHA sites, which is one of the projects. And before this area that I live in now, it is Section 8 based. Okay. Before it became a Section 8 base, you had in order to live over here, you had to either have a job, be in school, doing something, one of the two. You had to do something because it was for the family self-sufficient program. And that program was designed to, when you pay your rent, you pay a certain amount towards your rent. The rest of the amount of that goes into an escrow account for you. And then that escrow builds over at least 5 years. And then at 5 years' time, they cut you that check and then you move out.
Right.
Okay. And so a lot of people who were over here, their credentials were a little different because we were working towards something. You see what I'm saying? We
No,
weren't just
wait. Okay, because but you're saying, because I want to get clarity on it, because I don't want to, because you're saying they came from the. So I want to talk about what individual about that individual.
well. When I'm
you're saying,
saying when I say
so that individual you're
in
saying
order
they're
to
coming
live
from.
over here, you had to have lived in the projects first before you came and lived over here. And so now that they did away with that program, it's just a Section 8 based program. Now it's more like, people are living over here. They don't have really anything, no type of goals to push for, like how we did before. So they're coming from a war zone into quietness,
So okay, let me hold that.
into a nicer home, into
Hold
a
that.
go
Hold that,
ahead.
Michelle, hold that. Because and Crystal kind of talked about that a little bit, and I don't know whether I'm saying it correctly, but it's a mentality.
Exactly.
So
And
so
that's what I was gonna say.
okay.
So
Now,
mentally,
when I
when
say
living in DHA properties, such places such as McDougal, such as Cornwallis and Oxford Manor, right? So those are obviously 200 or more. Oxford Manor has a little less than us. We're at 200, but technically we have 198 doors at capacity. That someone can actually live in. The other few are for other reasons, right? McDougal has way more than us, and then you have Oxford Manor that is not far from us. So when you have subsidized housing communities that are at such a large capacity, you have to have, and then not only that, you have people who are living here who are coming from totally different backgrounds. And then not only that, not only white people or rich people or whatever people study statistics or realize what people say about certain areas. Anybody can know what someone has said about certain areas. So if you're a guy and you need somewhere to stay, and you know that these 200, 300 apartment doors are full of mainly women, mainly Black women, and mainly single mothers, mainly, you become a target. You literally become a target. Those areas become a target from family members. Oh, I know Gigi living over there, and I know her rent ain't nothing but $50. So maybe we could just go stay with Gigi until we get ourselves together. And then Gigi and Nene and Fifi and all of them come over there. Then grandma got a house full of people, and then that person bringing over somebody, that person bringing over somebody, that person doing drugs, and now this person feel like, oh, don't nobody over here care about their life, because that's what people say about the projects. But I call it a community to me, because it's important to me to call it a community, only because when you move somewhere, and so for an example, when I first moved here, I didn't start doing community work until the end of the year until the end of 2020. I had this huge clothing hygiene giveaway. They didn't know I lived here. Before, I worked so much, and then I was stuck in a house in a wheelchair getting home health care. And thank God for my church family, Faith Assembly Christian Center, because they had to come over here around the clock and help me wipe my behind. They had to empty my bedside. Come on, I know it's a little TMI, but there's only one bathroom here. The only bathrooms are upstairs, not like Laurel Oaks, is what Miss Alicia was saying. Laurel Oaks are like regular apartments. So here, it's like you come here and you can fall into thinking that you're less than. You can fall into thinking that, oh, I'm gonna be like the rest of them. You can fall into thinking, I see this young boy every day. He smile at me every day. He tell me I'm cute every day. And then it's that one day where I lost my job. It's that one day where I got into it. My children got into it with me. It's that one day where something happened and I was in my most vulnerable state. And then you end up with a gang member, or you end up with somebody that you think care about you, or this particular person who's not character might not be a really good person, but that's the only person who helping you watch your kids. That's the only person who help you with money. Oh, but he beat on you. He beat on you and he cheat on you, but he the only reason why you can get to work every day because you don't have no support from your family. He the only reason why you got transportation to work and to where you don't have to figure out how you gonna get your child to daycare, how you gonna get the other kids to school and be on the bus in time to go to work. But he the one with the car that's gonna take you where you gotta go, but he treats you like crap. But guess what? You still able to take care of your kids. So a lot of people's situations are totally different. And because of years and years and years and years of what the projects is, it's the reason why I feel as though people target us. We become a target. We literally become a target. You can even check police response times. I mean, oh, they just over there killing each other. They just over there shooting each other. Not saying that the police don't care about us, but when the police come and they don't get a response and you don't talk to them, so even our police response times, DHA workers are mainly Black. They all basically, people come in and start working for them, and then they fall in line with the other workers, whether they're caseworkers, whether they're leasing managers, whether they're maintenance, they fall in line with everybody else because nobody in the project cares. Nobody in the project want to do nothing for each other. Nobody in the project
Black people
want to
and saying that Black people, that most of DHA are mostly Black, the employees are mostly Black, and that they fall into that. Now, see, this is what I was saying, and this is what I was saying, and it is fact, and it is also facts that it's still the projects. Yes, it is our community, but it is still the project. Okay. And unfortunately, as it is, that is what it is. Okay. You ain't gonna change that by just saying, well, this is my community. Yes, it is your community, right, but it is still the projects. Right. And the problem
in my mind is the community.
And it's your community. And it is your community because a community is where you live.
That's right.
But it is still the projects. And that's just what it is. It ain't Beverly Hills. It ain't whatever, it ain't nothing else but what it is. Right. And the problem is that Durham Housing Authority, a lot of these people, what I've noticed, now see what you said about the women and the abuse that you get, you said all of that, and people, I went through that, and I wasn't even in the projects when I was up north. That was me. Mm-hmm. You understand? I got with a drug dealer. I got on drugs, dealing with a drug dealer up north, and I wasn't even in the projects.
Right.
And I did all of that because I felt like, and it has something to do with how you feel about yourself. That's why I said I try to encourage people. So being in a project, it don't mean that. But what I was trying to say is, you could take the person out of the projects, but you can't take the projects. That I was giving you that example to say this, that a lot of these people, when I moved down here, when I moved down here, I was grown, okay? I was 35 years old, 36 years old when I moved back down here in the projects. I was used up north to paying rent, paying lights, paying heat, paying cable, paying phone. When I came here and I saw that apartment that they put me in, of course, she showed me a different apartment, y'all. It was much better than the one she showed me before. But when I saw that apartment, I was like, wait a minute, they got a washer and dryer hookup? They got an upstairs and downstairs? Even though it's small, they got a kitchen, even though the stove looked like a little a plate type of stove because it was so small. They got a front door, back door. I had my own line in the back that I could hang up my stuff. And I had it was a 2-bedroom apartment. Yeah, 1 bathroom. But I felt secure because of the screen doors that was on there and everything like that. And I made sure that my apartment was clean. because I don't know why my mama told me this. Out of the 3 children she said she had, she told me, she said, Rochelle, even though you might live in the projects, don't mean that you got to be nasty.
Right.
Because people always think that people who live in that projects are nasty.
Right.
If you don't have curtains, iron you some sheets and hang them up, right? So as I get into my apartment and I see all of these kids that are younger than me, that don't know the fact about how to pay bills. They bill is the biggest bill. And granted, if you don't have the money, that could be a lot of money. $50, if that's the case, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So if you don't have money, then that could be a lot of money. But they don't know they don't have the sense of paying for lights every month, paying for heat every month, because we are getting it central heating and central air, where you got people who live in houses don't even have central heating and central air.
Right.
And I'm looking at these people, and some of them were feeling, now understand you. Remember, I was up north with a man I got with who was doing crack cocaine, and I started doing crack cocaine and came down here because I was like, I got to get away from this man, because I know that if I get around my mama, I won't be acting like this.
Right.
Now, I ain't have to go out on the street and sell myself or nothing like that. I go steal, but it was just the fact of me being on that drug with him.
Right.
And I'm looking at these people. And when I say these people, I'm talking about the residents that were there before me.
Right.
Okay. I'm looking at these people and I'm like, these are babies.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to have no, in my mind, this is a stepping stone. Rochelle ain't gonna be here forever.
Right.
Rochelle is not gonna grow generations in the project.
Right.
Understand, it is only there to help you to get on your feet. That's what it should be designed for. That is what it's designed for. But people get used to swimming a little bit, and now I get tired. Now I want to put my feet down because I'm tired of swimming. I get out there in the workforce and I start working, and then they start going up on my rent. I don't want to pay all that rent, so I'm going to stop working, so I don't have to pay all that rent. And now I'm going to do stuff under the table. You see what I'm saying? So I'm surrounded by this environment of people. And I'm thinking to myself, and even with the problems that I had, I'm still trying to encourage my people. This is not it. This is not it. I've been out there in the world. It's more to it than, getting having lights on that you ain't got to pay for. Having heat on that you ain't got to pay for. You can leave all the lights on and I ain't paying for it. So heck, why not leave all the lights on? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You don't have that sense of, let's get up, let's save our stuff, let's get together and get a job, try to and save and get out. There are certain situations, and unfortunately, they hit us all. Mm-hmm. It hit me where I wasn't, I was like, this is only a stepping stone. I'm only going to use this for a little while. Unfortunately, here I am today, still with Durham Housing Authority. However, in my mind, because I was in the next building down, away from the street, I'm now closer to the street. My next move is out. So that's in my mind. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Over here, they made us start paying our rent, start paying our lights and our heat. Right. Okay, everybody is complaining, but in my mind, I'm saying they're preparing me to start paying my own in my own home.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? I take care of my front yard, my backyard, because I got to do that in my own home. That's the mentality I'm talking about when I say you can take the projects out of the people. You can take the people out the projects, but not the projects out of the people, because you can transfer those same people, those same individuals that don't have that sense of go get it. Let's get up out of here. They just want to sit around. I'm not talking about all,
Right.
but you have the majority of those who want to sit around and not do anything because it is too hard. Because you have everything coming against you when you trying to stand on your feet.
Right.
But the only way you're gonna stand is to stand.
Right.
You don't have to get up. You're gonna have to suck it up, like my sister tell me all the time. Suck it up.
And you know what? Yeah. Thank you for that.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I really appreciate. I guess I just want to make sure folks understand you guys are speaking your truth, and you're speaking from a perspective that you can speak from that, because that's your community. I mean, you can say that. You know, you because somebody's probably gonna hear this and go, no, they didn't just say that, but they can say that because it's your community.
Yeah.
And so, but also what we hope to do on with this platform is try to encourage people who are in that project mentality.
Yeah.
Those community, as to find it ain't gonna be easy.
It's not.
It's not going to be easy, and we got to figure out how, and what I'm hoping is that you guys can bring to the table. Because Chris, I really, when you said that thing about, I had to write it down, that the eviction thing on the piece of paper.
Oh.
It's called. See, I mean, the thing is, why is that even there? That works against you. Why would that be part of? Would be part of that? So how do we talk about stuff like that to go, okay, community, for those of you who are interested, we need to push against this, and change this as collectively, for those who are, like I said, because it ain't everybody that's just not, that's sitting there, but those folks that Crystal, that you and Rochelle are working with, and those folks who want, so, y'all like, can we change that? Because I wasn't evicted and it's hindering me moving forward. Say, so how do you so I'm hoping your voice will get people to go, oh, you know what, that happened to me. So maybe we need to change that. Because I mean, because that's simple. You weren't evicted. I mean, that's a cut and paste
to pay you over $3,000 back, and then to basically be labeled. I could have been moved.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So those are the things that you guys bring to the table. Your passion, obviously, because Rochelle, we know she all but passionate and everything.
Girl, I get bugged sometimes.
I know. But Crystal,
but I don't mean any harm by it. I'm just passionate about it. I don't be loud and wrong sometimes. No. And I know how to apologize. But when I am passionate about something, I am passionate about it. I want to see everyone in, like I told the people at the board of, I told them, they was like, well, what can we do to help y'all? I said, you need to be there and hear us.
Yeah.
I said, when you go home, I said, you should have a better turnout rate of reward than what you have. You should have more homeowners. Graduating out of the housing authority. You should have. I said, when you go home, you turn your key into the door and you in your own home. You step on your land. I said, but when I go home, I got to be concerned about, if I'm parking too close to my neighbor, and if all these little silly things that require us to be neighbors in our community. I want all of us to be able to be homeowners. Yeah. Because we're already taking care of their home.
Yeah. So, and Crystal, is there anything, because we need to kind of wrap this up, and anything you want to add before I start closing this out?
Nothing really. It's a mindset for me. So, I believe that, if I take certain things out of my language, then if I take it out of my mind, then it won't be a part of my language. So it's just certain words I don't use. So it's no offense to nobody. And
Right.
I love Miss Alicia Passion. I just don't use that word because that's not what my community is to me. And that's the mindset that I chose to have.
Right.
And then like also I feel like changing the language because Melvin Green, he's the director of resident services. And we had a brief conversation about this like 2 weeks ago. Just changing the wording for things, even changing the wording for the resident council meeting. A lot, our communities have trust issues, and you don't have to live here to have taken on some things in life. Because again, a lot of things that I took on in Florida, I was not in subsidized housing to take those things on. But what my point was trying to get across is that neighborhoods like Cornwallis and McDougal and DHA properties, they're targeted. Unfortunately, I live here, so I see it very often. I am very involved in my community. I have conversations with a lot of them on the regular. So I hear how things go down. I hear how things happen, and I love my relationship with my community. Everybody is not going to like you. Everybody is not going to agree with you, but I just know that in my heart, I'm doing the right thing. So I totally, totally love this. And I want to thank you and appreciate you and hope that this can go on and that we can have conversations about other topics. And I'm just excited to see where this goes.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I am too. I'm Yeah, this has been extremely passionate, and because you said a couple of things that I already got. I know we've talked about the possibly topic we're going to have next time is kind of talk about law enforcement, simply because that's the work that I do. But I mean, just simply, I think, especially Crystal, you said uh, obviously the folk thing, but just I'm trying to figure it's just a mentality. I get what I heard. Well, how does a mentality of, because you were saying we're targeted? I've never really heard that. So I kind of
Right.
I kind of want us to kind of dig into that. And I hear that, right? Predominantly women and men come in, and and then like you said, I got a bad day, blah 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 blah, and here we go, right? So taking that comment, how can y'all talk about this and helping start planting seasons because it's hard. I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but like you guys have all, it's gonna be rough, boo. It's gonna be rough. So I know you're feeling it right now because he got a car, but he's abusing you. So what are those kind of conversations that you guys could be able to words of wisdom to help folks understand? Yeah, I get what all that you said about that when you were talking about we're targeted and everything. What are some of the things that you can say to that person who may be listening? You know what I'm saying?
Resources, especially families
That's kind of what that's
in the
that's kind of what I want
support.
us to try to
Yeah.
do with this podcast. That's what I want.
Resources.
Yeah, and but and yeah, that's another show. But think about that. Those things you put in the room. That's what I want to do. So Miss, I talk a lot, Rochelle. So so any words of wisdom that you want to leave us with, and then we're gonna get back. Get Crystal to say something too.
Like Crystal said, I do respect her. I respect you also, BJ. And again, like she said, I do thank you for this opportunity, so that we can voice our opinions.
Yeah.
We don't always have to agree. We can kindly agree to disagree.
Yes.
We are from different eras.
Yeah.
So I understand what she means when she says that she wants to change the language of what's being said about her community. I understand that.
Yeah.
And I don't take that from her.
Yeah.
But like I said, again, we're from different eras.
Yeah.
And it's not to say that I can't change either. I just see things differently.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And
You
that's what,
know,
that's what we talked
just
about.
living a little longer,
Yeah. Yeah.
not so much as that I know it all, but just being on the earth a little longer than she has.
Yeah.
She can teach me some things, I can
Yep.
teach her, vice
Yep.
versa. We can all do that.
Yep.
But I expect
Yeah.
great things out of this.
Well, thank
Out
you.
of this podcast, I expect great things, and more information, and to spread more information to help uplift us,
Yes.
to help educate us,
Yeah.
to help build our mindsets
Yeah.
to where we can, instead of saying we can't, because it is hard to stand when you
Yeah.
first start standing. But
Yeah.
once you start standing, you start walking. Then you
Yep.
start walking, you start running.
Yep. All of that. All
You
of
know,
that.
so
So thank
it's
you
doable.
yeah, thank you to both of y'all for doing this. I'm like, thank you for wanting to do this and giving this a shot, and we'll definitely see where this takes us. This will be our inaugural one. If we decide to call it, Speaking Our Truths, we'll stick with that. We may end up changing the names, but right now, I think tonight, if nothing else, Speaking Your Truth probably should be the title of this podcast. Y'all did just that.
Definitely.
Y'all did not hold back, and that's why why I'm just grateful you guys said yes. So thank you very much. And to my listeners out there, please spread the word about this, because this is talking to individuals who are living and have those in those spaces that some of us just see or ride by. We don't know what's going on in those communities and how we can and maybe help with that. And that's what we're hopefully going to be bringing to the table too, to help with the resources, identifying what sometimes the problems are with the lack of resources and those types of things. So I'm looking forward to see where this thing goes. So Crystal and Rochelle, thank you very much. And as always, to my listeners, stay well, stay safe, peace.
Peace.